Yeah, it's pretty bad in here, so we'll get the vacuum, clean this all out, vacuum out all these turds, shovel all this stuff out, then we'll put it all back together. A lot of rat turds. So the next thing to tackle is this gas tank, and what it's going to take to get this bad boy out is there's a strap here, and then right here there's another strap, filler neck hoses, and then up top I think there's your fuel lines and stuff up top. Gosh. Just a little bit. Doesn't even look that bad at all. Wow. Pickup tube doesn't look bent. I don't know. Does that look bent? They said that you had to have a half a tank of gas in it, or else it wouldn't go, because somehow the pickup tube got bent. And this doesn't look, I don't know, necessarily straight, but I don't know if it's bent. I got to look it up online and see what they're supposed to look like. Honestly, looking down in there, I mean, it doesn't look too terrible bad, to be honest with you. I'll pour this gas out and we'll see what it looks like. So after doing a little research, this pickup tube is bent. So this vent tube comes straight down, and this is also supposed to come straight down until you get to this bend right here, which is, you know, goes down into the bottom of the tank. There's a tab right here where the float you know, the travel ends. And this is where the travel is supposed to end on the bottom, and it's bent. It should be bent out so that it can't go below that tab. Here we go. We have them on the leads. Okay, so we're starting out at 58, 60. As we go up, the ohms should go down. So 37, 36, 26, 24, 22, 19, and then we're all the way up and we're at 15. Like it's full and we're at 14. So as we go down, it should go back up to like 60. There. What Dad and me ended up doing was putting it in the vise and trying to just bend it back straight. We got it pretty good. I don't know what you could have hit that would have bent that pickup tube that bad, and it didn't seem to damage the gas tank at all, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, it was definitely bent up. But now we got to get the old gas out of that tank. That gas does look pretty bad. Yeah, it doesn't smell good. I was thinking about maybe piecemealing it into my other stuff. A gallon at a time there, a gallon at a time there. The way this stuff will do you, because you'll think it's okay, but it's not. What'll happen is you'll run it through your lines, and then that gas, when you turn your car off, will get gummy on your valves. And then when you go to start it again, you'll bend your valves because the valves are sticking to the head. So this gas, man, you got to be real careful, because even though you might think it's okay, it will tear your motor up. So I don't even think I want to pour a gallon at a time in my other stuff, just to be safe. I might use this for starting fires or something this winter, but we'll see if it even lights. We'll put some on a piece of paper and see if it even lights. Well, it'll light on fire. Sometimes this stuff is so bad it won't even light on fire. It's like water. There's like a little bit of sediment down there, but it's not real bad. Instead of pressure washing it and then having water in there and trying to figure out how you're going to get the water out and waiting and blowing it out, I'm just going to put an inline filter in and just, you know, keep filtering it out. I'm going to put the hoses on top here now before I get under there and, what the heck, start monkeying around. I've gotten some comments like on the last video about, you know, just sometimes how I do things, like why do you cheap out, or you had it out and why didn't you do this or that. And sometimes things aren't necessary to do. If they're working just fine, I just leave them alone. But also, here's a perfect example of why I quote unquote cheap out. Like, I had to do these hoses, right? I had to buy new hoses, that's obvious. But I reused the gasket on the sending unit and the neck hole, because those cork gaskets, it was pliable, and those cork gaskets last a long time, and they're really, really tough, and they're probably not going to leak, odds are. But for example, these two hoses, 5 foot of 1/2 inch fuel line, 5 foot of 5/16 fuel hose, not even injection hose, not high pressure stuff, just the regular stuff, $46. 46 bucks just for those two hoses. I mean, if I would have had the chance to wait, I'd have bought them online. You know, if I wasn't trying to get this done in like a timely manner, I'd have just bought a roll on Amazon. But that's why, you know, I spend every dollar as if it were my last. I mean, because you have to. You know, if you just willy-nilly went out and bought everything, no matter what, like, oh, it might be good, might be bad, let's just go ahead and buy a new one, you'd be broke. You know, I just can't do that kind of stuff. You got to be careful. 46 friggin' bucks. And another example is this filler neck hose. You know, would most people say to redo it? Maybe, but it's pliable. When I squeeze it, it doesn't crack, which means that it's still good. Because if it cracked, you know, that means that it's going to get cracks. It could get air in it. It could leak fuel and all this. But, you know, it seems to be okay. And I can get fuel neck hose like this made, because you can't just go buy. It's not a radiator hose. This holds fuel. So there's a place in town that does make fuel hose this big. One, it would be expensive. And two, see how it's molded? They mold this specifically like this when they make it. It's not just bent. you know, and frozen in time like that from sitting so long. They mold this, and when you get it, it's just straight. They don't remold it when you make it. And I'd have to, if I wanted to order one online, I'd have to wait a week for it, if you could even find one, yada yada. So, you know, just by looking at it, it's good enough. I'll reuse it. It's just stuff like that, you know. It's just the art of discernment, I guess you would say. Like these hose clamp assortments from Harbor Freight, they're a lifesaver. You know, if you go buy hose clamps at the parts store, you know, you buy them kind of individually or in like a 3-pack, they're friggin' expensive. Again, with the money, yes. But you go buy a bunch of them from Harbor Freight, and even if they're not the best quality, they'll typically work all right. Alright, now what's left to do is hook up our odds and ends. So I got my 5/16 fuel hose that runs over here to the hard line, and I already blew through it, so I know it's not plugged up. So I just wanted to show you why you can't reuse old gas typically. So coming right out of the tank, underneath the bed, they had this inline fuel filter. I'm going to put it underneath the in the engine bay, close to where the fuel pump is. But these two halves are just crimped in the middle here. That's what that seam is. And when fuel sits in there for a long time, after you shut the truck off, there's some that just sits in here, and eventually it will leak out the bottom, you know, because it's sitting like this. And eventually it'll start leaking out of the bottom, you know, and this is what happens to it over a period of years. This is old gas. See how it's like gum? Watch. I'll kind of see it? How it's like sticky? It moves like molasses. So, and when you get this in your fuel lines and in your motor and in your valves, it really tears stuff up. So you just don't even want to take the chance. Now everything is hooked up underneath, all the hoses, all the fuel line, the fuel hoses, the vent hose. It's strapped in. Got the sending unit plugged in, but I did check underneath for power to the sending unit wire, and there's no power with the key on. So we're gonna have to see why it's not getting power. But this also goes back to all my gauges are not working. So I don't know if there's some feed wire that's broke because of the mice or what. But that's probably a common problem for all of them. I thought it would die. I thought it was going to burn up what was in the carb and then have to crank and crank to get it to pull from the tank all the way up. I think we did it. I think we did it. Yep. Pulling fuel. All right. I don't see any fuel coming out. My hose right there going across the top of the frame. All right, man. I'm happy. Yeah, I didn't like having that auxiliary tank in here. It just clutters things, you know. It's nice to have it all concealed the way it should be. So I'm digging it. I took the screws off of this the other day, and I just kind of popped back in here to see, you know. And you know, at first glance, it doesn't look like the mice got in here real bad. Yeah, that looks like a fix somebody did a long time ago, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to get up in here and see what's up. So your amp gauge is directly fed, I believe, by the battery, and this connector is supposed to have a wire coming off of it, so on both sides, and they're tied together. All right, so I have those wires hooked back up to the amp meter. So when I turn the key on, you should see it move. Yeah. See how it's pulling current, lights on, buzzers on, and when it goes off, that should move up. Okay, maybe not. Let's see what the blinker. Yeah. So whenever it's drawing current, that's why it's going negative, because there's no current replacing it. So, you know, it's drawing, not drawing, drawing, not drawing, drawing, not drawing. And if you turn it on, that's when it goes obviously to positive. There we go. That's working. I don't know why he had it unhooked. Why would you ever do that? It makes no sense. But still, none of my other gauges are working. That's left to be determined. But right now we have something else we need to do. So if you guys watch Chris over at No Nonsense Know How, his channel, if you don't follow him, you should check him out. He's a really cool dude. When he was here for the duct tape drags, he bought this car here. He's from Philly and flew out, and we got together, and he ended up leaving it here at my house, flew back to Philly, and I'm helping him sell it. So somebody's interested in it, I'm gonna meet him here in 30 minutes or so. So I'm gonna pull it forward and just wash it up, and hopefully we can make a sale. Oops. No neutral safety switch, I guess. Okay. Nice. We'll just give it a nice little wipe down, nothing too crazy. Just get the dirt off of it. Before he parked it, he did some burnouts in my yard over there, and it got dirt all up in the tires and everything else. I think we should leave the NNKH logo on the window. Why not? We'll leave it on there. Let's see. Try and just kind of dab it a little bit. Get some of the dirt off of there we go. Yeah. Looking good, looking good. Man, this wheel is filthy. Just to help us out, the best we can, right? You gotta do what you can to help yourself out, Get a little bit of, look at that. Look at that, see that? Nah, man, you gotta have a little bit of this going on, a little bit of this. Yeah, there we go. Brand new off the line tires. No matter what you got to sell, you always want to give yourself the best chances possible. Shine it up a little, wipe it down, put some tire shine on it. Spruce it up any way you can and run with it, Everything seems to be looking good. All the gauges are working. I think I can hear it a little low on power steering fluid. I can hear a little bit of whining in there. But yeah, all in all, I think it's a good car. Yeah, can you hear that power steering? What the heck? I thought I already had an open one of these. Oh well. See if I can do this without a funnel. There we go. Yeah, I can see it now. See if it sucks it down. two boys are in it. They're gonna go take it for a test drive right now. Riding off into the sunset. Heck yeah, dude. You know what sold it? It was the tires. It's because I put the tire shine on it, because they said it when they were walking around. Oh, these tires look nice. Oh, these will get us to Vegas even. They look that good. I said, yeah, I know they look good. I know why they look good. It was the tire shine. Tricks of the trade, my friend. But either way, Chris, I'm glad I was able to help you sell your car. Glad it worked out well. I'm sure I'll be in your neck of the woods sometime in the future. So anyway, let's get back to the Dodge. So I've been tearing my hair out with these electrical problems, with these gauges not working. It's been a whole fiasco. I've been looking stuff up. But anyway, to make a long story short, there's a voltage step down block behind here that steps the voltage down, and then it blinks. Your gauges like blink, and that's how you know if you have power. And this is what I've figured out. So if you go behind here and get on the stud of the gauge, it blinks. It's not a constant power or whatever. So if we come over under the engine bay where all the wires come out of this block here, or these few blocks, this wire is the fuel sending unit wire. And if you look, we have power coming out of the fuel sender wire, but I wasn't getting power over at the tank. What I figured out there was, see how this wire is butt connected to some other wire that goes back in the cab? This wire is butt connected to something else. I don't know what's going on here, but this wire and this wire should be connected together. So I feel like if I connect those, I'll have power at the back. My second one, my oil sending unit, which is the white wire, it has power and it blinks. So there's the sending unit down there. Here's the white wire. So we have power all the way to the sending unit, but when I ran the truck, the oil gauge still doesn't work. So the actual sending unit for the oil sender might actually be bad on that one. So here's your coolant wire, there's your sender down there. I should get a blinking light, just like the oil. I should get a blinking light. But when I go to the gauge, when I put it on this side of the lug of the temperature sender, we're getting a light. When I put it on this side, we're not. We should get it on both sides, just like the oil one, right? So here's the oil sender, other side, bingo, we're getting it. Same thing on the gas gauge too, we're getting blinking on both sides. We might not be getting blinking out there because the gauge could be bad. Alright, so we butt connected those wires together. Let's go see if it did anything. So gotta connect these. There's like 6 gallons in the tank right now, so. Oh, let's turn it off. Yeah, it's moving. All right, that's pretty accurate too, you know, 6 gallons in there, it's probably about right. So we're 2 for 4. Oh, I got my negative on the fuel gauge, and if I touch positive, see how it moves up? Send power to it, it moves up, that's working. Put my negative on the coolant gauge, temp gauge. See, nothing's happening. So we move to the oil gauge, negative. Let's try our positive. See how it goes up? I take it off, it stops, and it kind of drifts back down, you know, and then you hit it again and it'll energize it.
So these are both Tokheim 39s, I think out of the 40s. This one came from somewhere in Oklahoma, and this one, I got this one from on the border.
The south of Bisbee?
It was in Naco. What was so interesting about it is that it was, the barn was actually, you could actually see the border wall. This was an old farm that they put there in the 30s, 40s. This got the what I call the guts. It's got the guts in them.
Yeah, so it's got the motor, it has the pump, it has all the insides, it has all the stuff for the lights. It has the
Yeah.
This is the light cover. The light goes in there. These are the glass light covers. Check out those data tags. Delco motor. Wow.
This one here, what I want to do to it is obviously the glass, this front glass got broke out. And so I got glass for the front of it.
In this part of the pump, they put the name of the gas station up there. So on each side, you could see what gas station you were, you know, whatever, Sinclair or Texaco or whatever, and they'd have a globe up here. There would be the spot right there. You'd have the the logo of the gas station or the gas company up there.
Most of the time, what people do to make them more what I call user friendly, moving around friendly, they take the guts out of them.
That's really cool.
So that's what's going to go on it.
It's kind of funny how they say high compression on here, plus anti-rust, anti-stall, what was that? Cling icing?
Anti-icing.
Anti-icing. But high compression back then was like 8 to 1, maybe 9 to 1, you know? So that's kind of funny. But man, these pumps are really cool. Love the look of these, kind of Art Deco, these tall tower looking pumps. This one's out of probably the 20s. This one's kind of odd because it's got a really, really fat base. They call it a lighthouse pump. Kesey lighthouse pump.
You can still hear the pump working.
Usually those things are frozen solid.
I have a friend of mine that he was raised in Texas, and his grandpa had a gas station with these. I guess if you think about it, in the course of a day, you get tired of doing this, and they'd pay him $0.25
to go pump it. To go pump it up.
Well, he's a kid, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a kid, you got endless energy. So $0.25. Come on, man. How many candy bars was that? And a Coke on top of that. You know,
Yeah.
Coke's a nick. Candy bars nicks.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this dude, man. I mean, all he had to do was keep pumping the gas, and they give him $0.25.
All right, so it's been a few days, and some parts have came in the mail. A couple of parts from Rock Auto, the oil sending unit and the water temp sending unit, which I don't know, it's probably good. I just ordered it anyway because it was pretty cheap. And I also got a temp gauge, but check out the box it came in. This is an original NOS gauge, temp indicator, one piece, Mopar. This is the original receipt, I think. Dallas Depot, West Nelson Motors, Parkerson Ave, Louisiana, Crowley, Louisiana. Isn't that cool? This is an old original gauge. I also ordered the oil gauge because I think I burnt it up. I also have the hood release sitting in Marvel Mist Oil because no matter how hard you pull it, it won't do anything. And I also have the door latch mechanism out because this door would always open from the inside, never the outside. And come to find out, this piece right here is like literally broke. See how it's sheared? So this is supposed to be welded to this piece right here. So I'm gonna have to weld that back together, and then it'll open from the outside. So there's a little tack right there you can see, and also up top. Also put one on the top right there. So that ought to do us. Alright, so I got the new temp gauge in, I got the new oil gauge in, and I put a new oil sending unit outside too. So let's go see if we have blinking at the temp sending wire now. Because remember, we weren't getting any blinking to the other side of the gauge or to the wire. So let's see. Here's the wire. Bingo. Alright, we'll plug it in and see if everything works. Alright, oil gauge is starting to work. It was never working before. Real good, real good. I'm happy about that. We'll have to wait for a bit until it gets warm, and then we'll see if this is working. I don't know why this thing's revved up so high. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I know why. I unplugged a vacuum hose. That's what it's all jacked up for. I had this unplugged so I could get back to the sender, because, man. Also, I put the door latch back in. Opens now. Lock the door. Unlock it. Opens. Good to go there. Alright, well, it's been running for a while now. Temp gauge isn't reading, so we'll throw the new sender on it and see if that fixes it. See? I let the vacuum off of it. There we go. Alright, it's been running for a while with that new sender in it, and it's starting to read now on the gauge, so we are good to go. Finally fixed all the gauges. Needed a new temp gauge and a new sender. Needed a new oil gauge because I messed it up putting 12 volts to it, testing it, and a new oil sender, and fixed the wire on the fuel gauge because it was cut being routed somewhere else. Rehooked up the alternator gauge, and we are back in business. Now what I got to do is put this mess back together and make it look like I was never here. So I've tried working this hood latch, soaked it in Marvel oil. It's not budging at all. I broke the handle off of it. So I bought kind of like a universal one from AutoZone. So it's supposed to just do that. You know, as you push it in or out, it moves that. But the problem is this one has like a knob on the end, and this one has, you know, a loop to go around that. It fits over that, you know, and that's how it does it. So we're gonna have to cut this, and we're gonna have to cut that, and then put, where is it, this collar in there and tighten it down so that I can get the loop end on it. Alright, so we're at the glass shop right now. He's cleaning off the windshield. One of the last things I want to do to this truck is put a front windshield in it, because you can see it's got cracks all over it, and that's not legal to drive on. So I'm gonna put a windshield in it, put a new strip around it. I've already put new wipers on it. So yeah, after that we'll do the hood latch release, and then like we should be pretty good with this thing. So this glass shop, I've had them do work for me before. I like them a lot. Their prices are reasonable. They do a good job. They do it quick. Dwight's Glass and Tint here in Tucson. It's conveniently located right next to one of the most iconic donut shops in Tucson, the Donut Wheel. This place is truly an old school joint. I love this place. I've been getting donuts here since I was in preschool. They've never changed the inside. They've never renovated. I love this place. It smells so good in here. Picked up an assortment of donuts. Got some donut holes. Headed back in the 46 International, and we'll pick up the truck in a few hours. Well, we have a power steering leak. We're going to have to figure out what's up with that. But anyway, in other news, they got the windshield in. Looks really good, looks really nice. Yeah, the other one was totally trashed. So, yeah, I dig it. They even reused the old gasket. So this was only $165 to do this, which is a good price. All our gauges are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Temp, oil, fuel, alt, all that. So everything's looking good. The only thing I want to do now is, now we have to address the leak, but also the hood release. So I want to put this new hood release cable on it. I got it situated here. I took the old end off. This would not budge. And I got this little collar here that you can screw down. Little screw on the top, and I cut the one end off and put the loop end on. So we should be able to put this on and have a hood release. And then all right. All right. So there's supposed to be an O-ring that goes on the end of there, and I have it right here, and it's, I don't know, it looks like it needs to be replaced. So got out our O-ring kit. See if we can't find one that matches. Yeah, that one looks just right. We'll put that one on. Right there. So since this is just a return hose, there's a hose clamp on one side. I'm gonna try and cut this off so I can put another hose on it and hose clamp it. Look at that, it's barbed just like if you were to put a regular hose clamp on it. We'll put a hose over this since it's got like a little bump flare or whatever on there, and put a hose clamp on it and just cut the crimp fitting off. And yeah, I'll just go get a hose made right now. Alright, I got the new power steering hose on. I got it hose clamped on there. It's been running for a while. And yeah, I don't see any drips or anything, so I think we fixed that. So no more leaks anywhere. Alright, so before I say that I'm actually done with this truck, one last thing I want to test is the 4x4. Whole time I've owned this truck, I've never even tried the 4x4. So yeah, we'll just see if it works. Let's lock the hubs. Oh, I heard it click. Oh, there we go. Why are we not turning over here? Oh, it's because this side's turning. I bet if I... Yeah. So I'm stopping this wheel from turning. So it's... Yeah, the 4x4 works. What the heck? Oh, there we go. Alright, too high again. Alright, we're good. Pretty sure I have it where I want it now. All the lights work, all the gauges work. It has a brand new windshield, has a couple of new gauges in it. It fixed the power steering leak, brand new tires, brand new brakes, fixed the clutch, fixed the gas tank, all that good business. So it's a running, driving, stopping truck. Runs good. No leaks, new battery. So I like it. You know, it's got the gun rack in it. Manual 4x4, all of it works. It's a good 4x4 truck, play truck, weekend truck, work truck, whatever you want to do truck. It'll haul stuff. It's heavy duty, rear ends are heavy duty, 8 lug, 3/4 ton. I mean, it's just a good all-around truck. You could do whatever you wanted with it. But I might put it up for sale. Has a clean title and everything. If one of you guys might be interested in it, I think I'm gonna ask at $4,800 for it because it's got the 4x4 and it works. If you want to email me, it's right here. And it's also in the description of this video. My email is there, Tucson, Arizona, if you are interested in this truck. But if you have watched this video to this point, I do have a lucky surprise for you, a little sneak peek. I picked up this truck a few weeks ago. This is going to be the next Will It Run and Drive project truck. A guy named Jimmy, a local gentleman, messaged me. He emailed me and said, hey, I got this truck. I like what you and your dad do. I like that you guys work together. It's really neat. So he offered us this truck for a decent price. So I bought it. Has a clean title, hasn't ran since '98. This is a 1973 Dodge Camper 7500.
It's wore off on this side, but it's a Camper 7500. On the back it says Adventurer Sport. So this thing was made for adventuring, for camping. It's got the tow mirrors on it, it's got the toolbox on the side, it's got a camper shell on it, it has factory air conditioning, it has a factory 440, and this thing is so clean, the definition of clean. This thing is no rust, no rot, straight. I'm excited to dig into it. So here's an update on Dad's gas pumps. He put some ad glass in it right here, the Sky Chief and the Pure, and he put the globes on them, Sky Chief and Pure All Gasoline, to really just kind of complete them. And I think he put flood on them to give it some shine. You know, it's like a clear coat that you can wipe on. So these are just really cool. I wanted to show you guys the update on these. Dad put the glass in them, like he said, so he put front glass in it, he put the glass in it that's there where the little propeller is. He put the Sky Chief in it, put the glass here, put the globe on, did that to both of them, and they're just, I just love these. We both love these. These are just really interesting pieces of American history, and I just love the advertising: high compression, anti-rust, anti-stall, anti-icing. Oh, you got a multi-plug? There we go.
There we go. Now we got both.
Just really good looking pumps. But here they are, all lit up. Dad's selling them. I think he's putting them up for sale. You're, what, 1,800 a piece? 1,800 a piece. So there you go.
There's the insides. So whenever you go, they still had some of these around when I was a kid. You could actually, with a kid, that would intrigue me. This little wheel would sit here and spin. The little wheel would sit there and turn. And then it would ding. It's got like a dinger in it. It would ding. I guess every time it hit a gallon, it would ding, ding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's got a little bell in it. Yeah, the highest it would go was $1 a gallon.
$1 a gallon.
Oh, that was baller.
I like that.
That's all there is to it.
One way you can help support the channel is to subscribe, but another way you can help support in a more direct way is by our channel memberships. We have 2 different tiers. A link to join our memberships will be in the description of this video, and I'll also put it in a pinned comment. So anyway, guys, we'll see you next time.